Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello there, it's Mari, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide. I am really excited today. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We've made it to yet another show, and we're dealing with all kinds of stuff going on energetically and just in our physical realities. I think I'm like really amazed at how much this year has shifted gears. And the summer was really kind of sleepy and kind of, not too much going on. And now it's like everything is just rapid fire. And I know we spoke last week about, hurricanes and elections and all that. But now, today, this afternoon, actually, we had a full solar eclipse. We have a super new moon going on. We're about 48 days to the end of the year. We've got about a little less to the end of the Mayan calendar. It's kind of insane out there right now. And I don't know about you, but being an intuitive, or for all of you out there who are working on getting more powerful with your intuition, it can be really pretty intense. Generally light workers are quite sensitive, and tonight's show is all about finding the power of peace. And that tonight we have a special guest, Marlise Karlin, and she's the author of the book, The Power of Peace in You. I'm going to let her talk in a little bit right after we get through housekeeping. But this is a really important show, and it's funny how timing works, because I was supposed to have Marlise on the show a couple months ago, and everything was kind of chaotic, and it just didn't work out. And, we always say everything happens for a reason, and I think today is like the perfect the perfect day to have her on. And she has an amazing system for really being able to find your center within the chaos. And I want you to just know that with all of that, we do our AHA energy check. So with all of that I just said at the top of the show about the, the eclipses and all that, we're in what we call eclipse season. And we have the solar eclipse tonight, or earlier today, around 3:45 it happened Eastern time. And it's also on top of the new moon on the same day, which is unusual. And then we also have on our full moon, so in about 2 weeks, we have a full lunar eclipse. So this whole month, and all of it, well, probably the lunar eclipse will be a little bit after Mercury in retrograde has ended. It ends on November 26th, for all of those of you who are counting down the days. But this month is just a huge month of clearing out, of taking stock, of letting things go, of sort of cutting away, of really getting not just cutting away people or, cleaning out your closets, although those are great things, but cutting away thought forms that don't work for you anymore, cutting away your own personal habits that no longer work, kind of restructuring your life, restructuring your world, and preparing yourself for this new energy that's really going to start to pour in. It's kind of like, we cut back the bushes in order to have that big surge of growth. So this is a really, really powerful time. So I'm saying all of this to say that if you feel like you're going nuts and that, you're feeling antsy or cranky or out of sorts, or really like having a tough time focusing, or getting into like arguments with people, or sort of being extra sensitive, don't blame it on the hormones. Don't not this month anyway. Don't blame it on, don't divorce anybody yet. Don't give away your kids, or don't throw in the towel, because once we get on the other side of this, things will feel much, much different. So let me just say a little bit about housekeeping, then we're going to let Marlise start to tell us all about her story, which is really pretty exciting, and get into the content for tonight. I live in New Jersey, you all know that, and I have been going through a very tender, I would say is the word, tender and pretty poignant process of post-Hurricane Sandy aftermath, just seeing so many of the places that I go to get inspired to work with all of you don't exist anymore. Like literally the beach that I go to on a weekly basis has been washed away. Boardwalks. I was actually planning a Summit by the Sea conference in Long Branch, New Jersey, and can't do it there now because I was going to do it in April, and I can't do it there because it doesn't, the whole place is decimated. Seabright, which is another area that I spent a lot of time in, is like not recognizable. The 7-Eleven I used to go to get an iced tea when I'd go down in that direction is gone, and so I get shaky just talking about it, because today was the first day that I actually got to see pictures of everything and kind of get a perspective, because when you lose your power for 8 and 10 and 14 days like we did here, you kind of lose track of what and and you're not really traveling because we have gas rationing and all that. Well, it just ended yesterday, thank God. And so you're seeing it's just feeding in all this information, and so it's finally like hitting me what this really means. And like quote, getting back to normal isn't just getting your electricity and your heat, although that's a great start, but it's really like there's certain things that can't go back to normal, so it's kind of like the new normal. And I know that if you guys have been through, major storms, I know there's tornadoes in the Midwest and there's hurricanes, in the South and whatnot, in the Texas and Louisiana areas, and we had 9/11. If you've ever been through these types of disasters, it can be really, really disconcerting. So, with all that being said, I've been asking, well, how can I contribute? Because it feels like there's just so much that needs to be done. There's rebuilding, there's recovery, there's so many animals that are displaced. There's whole like gyms and coliseums that have opened their doors just to the animals of the people who've lost their homes and can't bring the animals to the shelters. There's one place that I was reading about today that has 200 animals that they're taking care of, just like a boarding, like a forever boarding place, till their families can figure out how they're going to, do housing. So I decided that for the rest of this month, all the angel readings and all of the private sessions that I do, the angel readings, the Akashic record readings, whether it's a half hour or full hour, I'm going to be donating 50% of every reading to these relief efforts. And I'm going to divide it into two things. I actually called up several people and asked them where do we need the help the most. And one is the animals, because there's just so many that are displaced. So the animal shelters are really like sort of overflowing, and they're trying to make their people. Some people have lost their animals, and the animals are alive, but the people, haven't reconnected with them because, they were picked up or got swept away and then found and all that kind of stuff. And the other is some of the rebuilding efforts that, so many communities need help, but we're going to focus probably in the Belmar area and in the Long Branch area, that Long Branch Seabright area, and see what we can do to support them with money, and we'll see how much money comes in, and then we'll see, and I'll let you know how it goes. But if you have been thinking about getting a private session with me, I would really encourage you to do it now. I've never done this before. This is something that's really near and dear to my heart, and it's affecting so many lives, not just here, but around the world, because it was a big deal. So I'm not going to spend much more time on that, but just if you'd like to get a reading, we are booking now until the end of the year, and I'm leaving all of my promotional rates in place. So if you'd like to get a reading, we're going to leave those promotional rates in place. I'm not going to do the price raise that I was planning on for a few more weeks. You can go to ahamomentsinc.com/readings, ahamomentsinc.com/readings, and you can also go on my Facebook page on both the so it's facebook.com/Mariana M. Cooper or facebook.com/ahamoments, and the links for the readings are on both of those pages. And there's also a whole photo album of pictures of what's actually going on. So if you go on either one of my Facebook pages, if you're not my friend yet, just put in a friend request on my friend page, and you can just like the fan page, but the friend page, if you put in a request to friend me, I'll friend you back, and you can get the links from there. So I really appreciate any support that you can give to this area, because it's a really, really big deal. And if it's going to be a long recovery. So if I can do other things, or if you guys have ideas, then let me know, and we'll do some stuff from Aha Moments, because I really want to contribute. Okay, so that actually takes a lot of stress off my heart, because I actually got to announce that. And so I'm going to now introduce you to Marlise Karlin, who's the author of the book, The Power of Peace in You. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on formal bios. I'm just going to say, hey, Marlise, how are you, my dear? And thank you for my blog.
Hello, I'm wonderful, and I'm happy to be here. And I do think that the universe has orchestrated the perfect time, because I really hear what you're saying about the challenges that are happening in the world, and specifically what you're experiencing in New Jersey. And I think that's, clearly, I don't even think it's clear, it's a fact. It's happening all over the world. We can't control the weather. We can't control all the chaos that is occurring at this time. So the most important thing we can do is finding out how to find that powerful connection to the source of inspiration, so we can begin to really see all the solutions that are available and what's possible, and to be in that state that allows us to know that everything truly is evolving.
Yes. And
we're at the perfect place. So there's nothing wrong here. Yes, it's changing. Yes, things are evolving in pretty much of a radical sense, and yet could it be part of what is the evolutionary track that we're all on right now, that will bring us even into a greater opening that we've done beyond what we might have even imagined. So now the greatest thing is to find those tools that remind us to get back into that place of connection, to ride through these storms that are ahead and that we're already going through.
Oh, you couldn't have said, you said it so eloquently and so beautifully and with such elegance, so I just think we're going to have a good time on this show today. Let me just start.
I'm so happy to be here, and I do think it is the perfect time, and I really want to say to all the listeners, and for those of you, because I do believe there's so many people going through major challenges right now. And what I want you to know is that in my own personal life, I've gone through being at the bottom of the ladder and literally, not intentionally, digging a hole. So sometimes that's what life hands you. And then what do you do to move through it and move out? I was just speaking to someone today about when I was 30, I was in the midst of losing my home. I literally had only a couple of months left before I was going to lose it. I was running out of money. I had put my car for sale just so I could, it was a second car, but I put it for sale so that I could use the money for my mortgage to try to, get a little bit longer until the house sold, because it hadn't sold. And when someone came to test drive it, an hour after they took the keys and gave me their keys, I had this sense something was wrong. And I went outside. They'd stolen my car. So then, in that same month, I was robbed from all my jewelry by gunpoint in that house. So can you see how things escalate? Do you know what I mean? And so I was right in the midst of probably some of the greatest challenges, that I could ever have foreseen. And how do you deal with that? And, how do you deal with that? And the interesting thing is, what I spoke is that this was the exact time that I met a meditation master and began meditating. And it was that clarity that I was finding on my inner journey that gave me the strength to ride through all these storms. And actually, I got such a strong awareness that some of it, for me, was about clearing out the past and things that I might have done in the past that would no longer serve me. So I had come to this threshold of life is going to change, And I believe our soul sends us on these journeys so that, because, who would ever ask for such a dire set of circumstances to come into your life? And yet, looking back, it was a time of huge transformation. And I will tell you that, by the time my car was stolen, I actually started laughing. I didn't even get upset by it because I just thought, okay, take it all. How can I begin again then? And the interesting thing is I did sell my property in literally the final days before I would have had to turn it over. And I had to take back money on it, to help make it where somebody really wanted to buy it. And I couldn't access that money for 2 years. So isn't that interesting? So it really showed I was releasing something and I wasn't through the whole journey. So I didn't have to go down as far as I thought I might. So it was like saved in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So that money would be there. I could begin again. And this is what happens when you connect to the power within you. So even if you are looking at something very dire, like, you're even talking about, I've lost my beach, I've lost my place for my venue, I've lost this. But what have you gained in the process? And what is possible that you hadn't even thought of that could happen now?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
some of that has already begun for you because, like, you're finding this way to serve others. I'm sure you do already anyway, but here's something new that's come to you. Now, who knows who you're going to meet in this journey?
Right.
Somebody, that makes this big connection towards something else that's supposed to open in your life. Let's look at this like there's something occurring that's going to benefit me. And so when I get in connection to that place that is timeless, that never has ups and downs, because it's a limitless, infinite place of expansion, which you experience in the depth of stillness. That is what gives you the courage and strength and connection to the source of inspiration of what you'll be doing as you move forward in the coming days and weeks ahead.
Well, you know what? Let me just stop you here for a second. I just want to give everyone the call-in number. If you'd like to call in and ask a question, we're taking your questions live tonight, and I'd encourage you to do so. And I know that most of the time you're calling in for readings and all that kind of stuff, and tonight's a little different. But this, as you can hear already, with what Marlise is saying is if you're going through something that feels like it's just you or feels really heavy right now, this would be a good time if you want to get some clarity to have somebody who can fly over the top of it really high and help you to kind of, dig in and connect to that infinite self, which we talk about quite a bit on the show. Tonight's the night. So the number to call in is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. And Sam will, get your names and stuff, and then we'll get some calls in before the end of the show. So anyway, Marlise, can you believe we're almost like 1 minute off of our first break? Can't believe that went so fast. But what you're saying is very, very. Is very, very powerful, and I think the question I was going to ask you is to tell us about your story and how you got started with this, and you did that. I think that people are I think that one of the things I want to talk about on the other side of the break is control. And that feeling of our routines, because this is what I learned from 8 days of no power, sitting at the Target waiting for a Wi-Fi signal. How addicted we are to our technology, to our routine, and how our routines are our kind of control panel for our lives. And I think that when you go into what you're talking about, into that still place, it's almost like a sense of relinquishing control. And we're going to go to the break, but I'd like to talk about that on the other side of the break if you're willing to do that, because I think that was one of the big things I kept hearing as I went from place to place, meeting hundreds and hundreds of people that I would have never talked to if we weren't, if we didn't have, 80,000 people around here without power.
Right.
How everybody becomes family when everybody's going through, such a hard time together. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. If you'd like to call in, it's 347-215-9485. And when we come back, we'll get to your questions and everything else. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and we'll be right back.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Hi, this is Dr. Dean here. 12 years ago, I had everything that was supposed to make you happy in this reality, and I was still dying inside. So I told the universe, you have 6 months or I'm killing myself. Either things change or I'm out of here. A week after I made this demand, I saw an ad in the paper. It said, access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and it had this girl's phone number. To make a long story shorter, I had a session with the girl. It's called an Access Consciousness Bar session, and it's a simple process of touching points on the person's head. For me, it was the first time remembering everything was okay, everything always had been, and everything always would be, and I never contemplated suicide again. One tool, one thing, a process that took about an hour, and it changed the energy of what I knew was possible. It changed my whole life. This is what I'd like to share with you. For the first time in years, I'll facilitate a one-day Access Bars class. On November 7th, you can learn this process with me in California, or you can join me online from your home anywhere in the world. Go to globalbars.com to learn more. globalbars.com.
Step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Are you at a crossroads in your life, facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Maury has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Maury tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Hello there, we are back. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and tonight we're talking all about the power of peace, and we are speaking tonight with Marlise Karlin. So Marlise, I know on the break we got to chat a little bit more, and I like we had talked about on the show, right before the break, let's talk a little bit about that feeling of letting go, let's say, not really controlling everything that's going on in our world.
Right. Well, what I will tell you is, just to kind of bring it a little more full circle from the story, because, in my youth, I ran away from home at 16 and got into drugs and alcohol and, from growing up with an alcoholic parent. So I began my search to find out who I was beyond who my father said I was from a very early age. And it took me through a lot of dark alleys, but then came that time that I was speaking of when I met a meditation master. And that opened me up into releasing a lot of the anger, and I moved into a very successful time in life. I was an international director of a nonprofit. I was an award-winning film producer in Hollywood, and then I had an injury. And that injury reminded me that I hadn't completed the journey, that I hadn't reached what I was wanting and believed and knew I could experience. And then I left time for stillness, and what happened was a whole series of experiences that completely shifted my perception in life. And what I mean by this is the energy that I experienced, and why I call it the energy of peace. It is that space of consciousness that you can literally feel on a palpable level. And so I was guided to begin traveling the world, and was being, the messages coming through to me were, it's time to develop this into some sort of process or methodology so other people can experience it as well. And so this is one of the stories I have to share with you as I began to travel the world. And I just could experience this profound energy, moving through me and through the work that I offered. But, how I would develop it hadn't become clear. And so now here I am in Africa, and all these stillness sessions had been set where I would be doing programs with people, offering them the understanding and offering out that resonating power of that energy. And suddenly it begins raining so intensely day after day that people are leaving in droves. And I'm with my guide. All of the stillness sessions that had been planned were canceled because you couldn't get anywhere. The roads were like rivers, right? And on this one day, it had started clearing up. So we took off. We went to this beautiful place, and it starts pouring again, and you can see the clouds coming. And he says, I cannot get you back to your lodge. There are no roads. The safest place I can get you right now is a Maasai village where I live. So I ended up going to spend the night at a Maasai village, right? And there I am. And when we got to his place, suddenly it stopped raining. Now notice, I'm having to relinquish total control, as you want to say, right? Things are not going the way I thought they were. I'm not ending up in doing these programs. Suddenly, now I can't even get back to my lodge, and I'm going to end up spending the night in a Maasai village. And then when I get there, it stops raining, and the moon comes out, and he lights a fire, and soon I was surrounded by so many of the Maasai warriors. And they're doing their cultural dance, and they're chanting, and they're doing all of this. And then when they sit down, the guide says, here is Marlise. She speaks about that peace inside, and now she's going to tell us more about it. And I'm like, wow, this is fascinating. My stillness session is with the Maasai. And I have to tell you, in that moment, so many magical and extraordinary things happened, because this is what always will happen when we listen to that knowing and follow through with what we're being guided to. And I found out later, like, one man literally gave up drinking who'd been drinking his entire life and was a complete alcoholic, and within, days afterwards or hours, this is what I heard from the Maasai, is that he had completely stopped, completely turned his life around. Another man who ended up translating, he ended up coming to America. Imagine being a Maasai, you know how little money they have. He ended up getting the money to come to America to study to become a balloon pilot, so he could add to the money he was earning at the clinic to help more people. So, and when he came to America, do you know how many people's lives he lit up? So what I'm saying is, in that relinquishing control, if you want to say that, you actually gain access to greater power. You're not letting go of your power. You're accessing greater power. And then that ripple effect of how many people's lives it affects is so huge, you will never even know how profoundly, by following that guidance within, that pebble, that line in the ocean as it goes out in the lake is affecting so many people, and how many lives will they affect, and on and on and on. And isn't that what we're all here to do? Isn't that what our lives are really about?
Yeah, it's so profound. What a great story. That's like really, really powerful. And I think what's really exciting too is your passion. It's like you can just feel your energy and how you live this. This isn't a theory for you. This is this has been an evolution of your own world. And I want to talk about. I'm really intrigued by the fact that somebody could decide not to be an alcoholic after doing this process, in such a short period of time. What are the transformations? And we'll get into how to do the process and get to the recorded process you talked about. But what are some of the transformations that people have had by doing this? This practicing this stillness that you're referring to. Yes.
Well, the Simplicity of Stillness method has three main elements. And it has stillness sessions, which are totally unique in that it's not meditation. And you can actually do it literally in 5 minutes' time.
Okay.
And, so that's what I was guided to develop, because we're in the 21st century.
Right.
And we're at a time when we are in this evolutionary time. So we're actually already prepared to move into higher consciousness much more rapidly than we ever have been before. Yes. And so when I began, I used to do 40-minute stillness sessions. Now I have them 5 minutes, 11 minutes, all of that, because we're able to access it. We feel it moving through us. We're tapping into that higher consciousness, and now it's integrated into every day of our life. It becomes the philosophy of our life. And then there are practices. And in the Power of Peace in You, I have 11 practices, because I know that so many people on the program who come to your program are very far down that road of consciousness and understanding and all that. But we all have moments where we forget. We need those little reminders, how to tap back in and to deal with our own resistance, to deal with anger. And then to answer your question about what kind of things have happened, it is mind-blowing, isn't it, to see someone and to find out about some people who have absolutely walked away from addictions. And he's not the only one. The book is filled with other stories of people who've walked away from addictions. And not everybody in 24 hours, no.
Right.
It would be a month. But one man stopped drinking. He said he was drinking a quart of Jack Daniels a day for years of his life. And within 1 month, he had completely stopped. So what, and whether he went to AA or what other things he did, I don't know. But isn't that, it doesn't matter, does it? That's what we do together. That's why everyone has these beautiful gifts, so that we can keep tapping into higher awareness and be guided more succinctly down that path that will release more of the limitations of whatever it is we're holding on to. And simultaneously, what I'll say is, and you can find these stories in the book as well, because these people so inspired me in watching what happened to their lives. It's also about moving towards your purpose and your dreams. And so there are tools and everything and stories about people who completely walked away from jobs, in fact, that they had been at for years when they saw it wasn't in alignment with who they were, and suddenly found a whole new work, new lifestyle, new everything. And it's interesting to find that happening at a time when people are losing their jobs. But if you can change your perception, you could end up turning it around, and it could end up being the greatest thing that's happened.
Well, I want to ask you this, because this is something that comes up all the time, and that is, do people have to take action after they do these sessions, or does it just happen, they do the session, and then things start to change? And
you know what? It's a combination, because this works so naturally, and that's what I discovered too, and many people discover, is that literally after you begin doing sessions, and you want to integrate it, it's not a one-time thing. Yes, some people have had huge life-changing, but not everybody's going to have it that way. The more you integrate it, just like anything in life, the more you integrate it, it becomes who you are.
Yeah.
And then you watch, there are certain things, I saw fears that I thought I had already handled arise to the top and be gone. Be gone. I saw courage that I never knew I had suddenly, and this happens to so many people. So much inner strength arises that now you have new choices in life, and you have new beginnings. Because how many things are there that you haven't done because something inside you couldn't take that leap, couldn't, have that knowing that you really could do it. And when something begins to shift inside, whoa, there it is, new life choices. Now, what that brings you to is when you have this awareness that begins to change these limiting beliefs, you're literally developing new habits. When you develop new habits, what happens is you have new behavior. And when you have new behavior, you also are taking more inspired action in your life because you can't not take action, unless you're sitting on your sofa all day long.
Right, exactly.
So then when you are taking inspired action, yes, you're going to see new life circumstances appear. And that's when you begin even gaining a more enriched life every single day.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that the key here is creating new habits. It's one of the things a lot of people say, well, oh, Mari, you're intuitive, oh, you're psychic, and that's a gift. And it's really not. Everybody is intuitive. Everybody has intuition. But what I've done is I'm much more habitual about actually using it as a language than the average person. And I think that's for anybody who's a professional in any of these, spiritual arts, I call them. It's a lot of it is we get, a certain, connection, and then we're very consistent showing up each day, to create that consistency. And it doesn't have to be long periods of time like what you're saying, but keep being consistent, I think is more important than, and then integrating that so that it starts to become sort of second nature is more important than going and sitting in Tibet for 6 months and sitting in a cave and just,
That's not what we're here to do this time. Exactly. And it isn't that you can't have those experiences, because you can.
Right.
You can have those deep experiences, but every single person here right now is here to bring it into this reality that we're in. And that's what will shift it. And shift it into a more conscious society, into a more conscious awareness that we can see happening among everyone, and see what you're doing is so beautiful because you're listening to the messages. And that's where a lot of people have a difficult time going, well, should I take that move? Should I can hear it, but should I take that move? And what I say is, when you're connected to the source of true power, then you recognize yes, and you learn to trust. So you will take that move, and you also recognize there's not one move left in life. There's quite a few.
Right.
So take the move and listen for the next message, because you might reach another place where it says, now's the time, turn left.
Right. And sometimes I think one of the things that people experience is they think they get the message, they take the step, and Spirit leads them through a side door. So when it starts to not look like what they thought it was going to look like, because, I've had many, I've done over 100 episodes of the show now. We've had, tons and tons of guests. And one of the things that you have is this division of the people who say, okay, when you want to create something with intention, you have to be really, really specific, and you say the date and the time you want it to happen and the colors and what you And then you have the other people who say, surrender it all and allow the universe to configure and co-create with God and the divine, and God is the source, and people then. So when people get to this point, they're kind of confused. Like, well, if I plan too much, I get attached, and then somebody's saying surrender, and somebody's saying plan, and somebody's saying don't plan, and so we're getting a lot of crisscrossing currents. And I think that your system sounds like it's a good integration. So believe it or not, we've gotten to our next break very, very quickly. On the other side of the break, what we're going to do is Sam has your audio, so we're going to let folks listen to a stillness session. We're going to have a short stillness session so that you guys will get a taste of Marlise's work, and this is also on the podcast, so all of you who want to listen to it again can do that. We have tons of subscribers all around the world to that. And then we can talk a little bit more once we get on the other side of the listening to it about, your comments and stuff, and then hear about how people can get a hold of your book and all your programs and everything. And I know you'll be at the Kripalu and, the whole thing, so we'll get into all that on the other side of the break, if that works for you.
Sounds great.
Terrific. Okay, you guys. Now, I see tons of you have called in, but everybody's shy tonight because we're not doing readings. So everybody's listening. I don't want you to think that you don't have a lot of people listening, because we have a lot of people listening. It's just not asking questions. But if some of you are brave and you want to ask a question, you can call in 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments Radio Show. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dr. Dean here. 12 years ago, I had everything that was supposed to make you happy in this reality, and I was still dying inside. So I told the universe, you have 6 months or I'm killing myself. Either things change or I'm out of here. A week after I made this demand, I saw an ad in the paper. It said, access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and it had this girl's phone number. To make a long story shorter, I had a session with the girl. It's called an Access Consciousness Bar session, and it's a simple process of touching points on the person's head. For me, it was the first time remembering everything was okay, everything always had been, and everything always would be, and I never contemplated suicide again. One tool, one thing, a process that took about an hour, and it changed the energy of what I knew was possible. It changed my whole life. This is what I'd like to share with you. For the first time in years, I'll facilitate a one-day Access Bars class. On November 7th, you can learn this process with me in California, or you can join me online from your home anywhere in the world. Go to globalbars.com to learn more. globalbars.com.
Step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Hi, this is Dr. Dean here. 12 years ago, I had everything that was supposed to make you happy in this reality, and I was still dying inside. So I told the universe, you have 6 months or I'm killing myself. Either things change or I'm out of here. A week after I made this demand, I saw an ad in the paper. It said, access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and it had this girl's phone number. To make a long story shorter, I had a session with the girl. It's called an Access Consciousness Bar session, and it's a simple process of touching points on the person's head. For me, it was the first time remembering everything was okay, everything always had been, and everything always would be, and I never contemplated suicide again. One tool, one thing, a process that took about an hour, and it changed the energy of what I knew was possible. It changed my whole life. This is what I'd like to share with you. For the first time in years, I'll facilitate a one-day Access Bars class. On November 7th, you can learn this process with me in California, or you can join me online from your home anywhere in the world. Go to globalbars.com to learn more. globalbars.com.
Hello, we are back. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. Tonight we're talking all about the power of peace in you with Marlise Karlin, and we are going to do what we call this a stillness session, right, Marlise? Is that what?
Yes, it's a stillness session. And this is just a little 3-minute one. It's a little put the toe in the water. But if you just allow yourself, wherever you are, to get very comfortable. If you're seated in a chair, just relax your body. You can place your hands in your lap with your palms facing up. And if you can even lay down. Now, if you're listening while you're driving, you do want to keep your focus, but don't worry, you'll be fine. And you can always come back, as Mari said, and listen again to the stillness session later. So let's begin now. And just begin breathing very deep. And knowing you're going to draw to you whatever is perfect for you in this moment.
Perfect. So, Sam, you have it? Sam's going to start. You can start the audio.
Great. And if he can play it where we can listen. Can you ask him to play it where we can hear it?
Yeah. Now is that perfect moment where there is nothing more to do. Nothing more to say. Just allow the beat of your heart to guide the way. Breathe in deep and breathe out long. Breathe in deep and breathe out long. It's time to open your mind and be free. There is power and peace in you. There is so much power and peace in you. Breathe in the knowing now and be in the stillness within.
So become aware of your body and what you're experiencing within in this moment. Notice the difference of how you felt from the beginning and how you're feeling now. And then take that awareness with you back into the space where you are. And when you can, slowly and gently open your eyes. What we're doing with this movement is bringing that energy of peace, that beautiful arising consciousness through us back out into the space and into the world around us. And as we do that, we're uplifting those around us and bringing that awareness into the everyday and every moment of our own lives. So we begin to feel it being woven throughout every single moment. And then knowing it's just a breath away to get back into that place of deep connection where inspiration rises, where that peace gives you the knowing of who you truly are. So, welcome back.
Wow, that's wonderful. You know, I felt like very, very expanded, and I love that. I know when I do my own meditations or my own, periods of silence, whenever I get like really kind of chaotic, like I've been, sometimes I'll just close my eyes and I just feel like I'm expanding into that infinite self, like going way beyond the confines of the body into that space. And that's where all the answers are. And this is a wonderful tool to get you there because, I could feel that I don't know about you guys, but I know that it was just like, wow, in that short little time. So that's 3 minutes. How long? The one in your book is longer, right?
Yes.
It's like
And the one in the back of the book, in The Power of Peace in You, is an 18-minute stillness session. Okay. And then I have other ones online on my site that are 11 minutes, and they have a whole variety. And as you can see, you can feel that vibration moving through the music and the words. And what I love to tell people is, this is the time we're in, and this is what is resonating through these stillness sessions so that we can begin experiencing that peace immediately. So not that we're going into meditation trying to get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know for myself, I had so many times of just laundry lists in my head, for gosh sakes. But I would do it anyway, knowing that it was bringing me benefits. But now we're at a time where we can tap in, and oh my gosh, you can just, like you said, you just start feeling that wave moving through you so beautifully. I
think this is a time where energetically, because I always like to, the earth is allowing us to, because a lot of people say, well, why didn't we have this before? Why didn't we think of this before? But you know what? The universe wasn't ready. We weren't ready yet. And now is a time where everything has become more snackable in size. Instead of having to meditate for hours or years, you can do a process like this for a very short period of time, and because the potency of the energy on the earth is so much faster, it takes. So those of you who are intellectually saying, but I can't imagine that I can get the same benefit, without it being 2 hours, it's a different time. You have to recognize there's so much energy that's shifted and different now that really supports this, and just our ability to be more aware of that infinite self.
What I'm feeling too is that this level of accelerated energy, it would have blown our systems out.
Yeah,
if we had it 10, 15 years ago. Absolutely. So because consciousness, as you're saying, has risen to a higher level, we can connect to it, and experience it. And then, of course, I would invite you, yes, do the 5 minute. But what I find is that the stillness will begin to resonate within you to such an extent it draws you into stillness again and again. So you don't even have to say, well, should I do it again? Guess what? You're going to want to. And then you want to give yourself that time. You might do it at night right before you go to sleep. So you can go to sleep already in that higher vibration. Or a lot of people tell me they love to do the 11-minute one, and they literally keep it in their iPad or something next to the bed. So when they wake up first thing in the morning, because sometimes you wake up, you go, oh, what about this? And I have to do and look where you're going. And instead, if you play the stillness session, it clears the slate. I can begin fresh. What could happen today that I haven't even dreamed? Who could I meet? You just begin in a whole new uplifted way, which is so great for us to do this now. And and if it drops away, yes, that's when you go to the other practices, because then you've anchored this state within yourself, and just doing a few deep breaths, you find it rising up again.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we have about 3 minutes before we end the show, so why don't you tell everyone how they can get in touch with you and get your book, and you're speaking at Kripalu. And
wonderful. Well, powerofpeaceinyou.com is a very simple way to find me. powerofpeaceinyou.com. There I have free gifts for you. You can already have an excerpt of the book and see and read all the different elements that we spoke about. There's a stillness session, a brief stillness session that you can download and begin having that experience, and a whole variety of other gifts and information. And then you can find it at Barnes & Noble as well as Amazon. And I will be at Kripalu in Massachusetts, beautiful, beautiful place, for a 3-day weekend course, which would be so great just to get in that deep, deep healing stillness and the full energy and empowerment that it gives you. And that's what we'll be going into during this weekend. And it's December 7th through the 9th. And there's a whole variety of courses and wonderful things, so I invite you to come to Facebook and all the different places. And I just thank you for spending this time together. I love being here, and I love having this opportunity. So thank you so much, Mari. It's been great being with you and with everyone.
Oh, well, thank you. And tell everyone your Facebook page so that people can is it like Facebook.com? Is it your name or what?
Yes, it's Facebook at Marlise Karlin, MarliseKarlin. And then I have a page as well as the profile. The page is the one to go to on the fan page.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you. This has been a delight. It's definitely been, a nice oasis in the crazy desert of crazy. And, everybody else who's listening in will really, really take time to not just listen to the sample tonight, but to get the book and to really, do yourself a favor. Maximize this energy. It is about as potent as it gets, you guys. If stuff to work fast, it will be like now. Whatever you do
exactly
now is like manifesting. As it's even configuring in your head, it's already like showing up in your world. I mean, you can't even. There's like almost no lag time anymore. So really allow this to. If you're going to create something, you might as well create the good stuff, because
the really good stuff. Yes,
the really good stuff. Thank you, Marlise. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Everybody, please, if you would like to support our Hurricane Sandy recovery, it would mean so much to me personally, but also to so many people and critters in the affected areas. And if you'd like to get a reading and contribute $50 to, because each reading at the very least will contribute at least $50 to the cause. You can go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/aha moments. And it might be Aha Moments Inc. If you don't see Aha Moments, it might be Aha Moments Inc. I can't remember off the top of my head. Or you can go to Mariana M. Cooper on Facebook and get it there too. So, like I say at the end of every show, you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in this energy, anything is possible. Have a great week. See you next week, everybody. Take care.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.